Welcome into another episode of Top Shelf presented by Enterprise. Big trips, sudden detours, or last-minute plans, whatever it is, we're here for it. And welcome in to the Enterprizes, the least official but perhaps most important NHL award show to exist. Stole that from our good friend Aiden there who did this last year. This is where we don't recognize players for scoring goals or teams for winning games, but we're recognizing guys for being sneakily talented goons or, goalies who have a lot of potential to be in fights. I'm your host, Levi Smith, joined as always by Kyle, John, Josh. And for those of the people out there watching this show who aren't taking us seriously, John can actually vote on real awards. So not only does he do that, but he's voting on these far more important awards.
Yes.
So
you put a lot more time and effort into these awards.
I stayed up all night. I was tossing and turning. It was hectic.
Restless. Yeah, you're sending us. Man, I don't know who to pick for the Ron Hextall Award. But yeah, we're about 2/3 of the way through the season. Games are dying down before the Olympic break. The roster freezes tomorrow. So what better time to kind of take a look back at what we've seen so far this season and award some guys who probably won't be getting awards when it comes to the end of the year. A lot of fun awards here. I'll go over a couple quickly before we get into it. We have the John Scott Award returning from last year. Like I said, for the Goon who's having a sneaky good season. The Phil Kessel Award, we'll get to that one in a little bit, but, a guy who's keeping GMs up because they didn't make their national team. Phil obviously had been in that position. We've got the Cy Young Award. We've got lots of good awards that you will never see awarded anywhere else. So without further ado, I think we should get into the first one because it's probably the most topical right now. The Ron Hextall Award. This is given to the netminder most likely to partake in the next goalie fight. Obviously, we had that banger of a fight during the Stadium Series between Vasilevsky and Swayman. So you guys each have a nomination for this award. Let's start with you, Josh. Who's the goalie with the most potential to be in the next goalie fight?
How can it not be Jordan Binnington, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is such a loose cannon in net. He's always mixing it up. Honestly, he can be great one day, terrible the next. He likes to chirp, get into all that. And he's having a terrible year, so maybe one more bad goal he lets in, and he's just going to,
Blow a
flip
gasket.
scrap someone.
Olympic goalie fight coming up?
That would be amazing, but let's
What would the penalty be for that?
Oh, God.
I don't know, but
Kicked
whatever
out
it
of
is,
the
it is worth
knowing
it
the
for Team Canada.
IHF, probably banned for life.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Maybe more, locked up in jail or something. John, you're a nominee for the Ron Hextall Award.
I'll go more of a dark horse, a young stallion, if you will, 23-year-old Yaroslav Askarov. This guy, he's in the AHL doing bench presses with the net. He has a neck tattoo now. I mean, that alone might put him to the top of the list. Guys with neck tattoos, they get in fights. Maybe it's at a bar, maybe it's on the ice. So this guy is just prime for that. And on a more serious note, he's this up and coming star. He is going to be in these situations where opposing players are going to try to take him off their game. I mean, you look at the last couple of fights. It's usually, the goalie's getting snowed or poked at, and it just escalates. And I could just see that happening with the Sharks. And, hey, Alex Nedeljkovic, Yaroslav Askarov's partner, just got in a fight, so maybe there's some jealousy there.
Yeah.
Maybe the young Russian goes, hey, let me get involved in that.
Maybe Ned can show him the ropes a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Yeah.
In practice, who knows when the
Hey,
cameras
man.
are gone? Are they, practicing? So, Askarov's such a great addition to the NHL group as a personality, and I hope he gets into one of these high-profile bouts.
Just imagining goalie practicing fights.
Yeah.
The absolute scenes. Oh, that would be great.
Your nomination, Kyle. Last one here.
Very different direction for me. You went young guy, maybe a bit of a temper on him. Well, I'm going to an angry old guy.
Okay.
And that's Jonathan Quick. We saw even earlier this season, he almost started a full team brawl at the end of a Red Wings Rangers game in November, which had an awesome picture because of the color jersey matchups. But for me, I'm looking at a veteran who has never had a chance to fight in his career to this point. Coming to the end of his career here on a bad team. He's been thrust into a starting role kind of unexpectedly, playing probably more than he wants to or expects to, and I can just see him just going the switch flips and goes off on somebody. I'd love to see it for Jonathan Quick. And he's like a bit of a weird goalie too in terms of his playing style and everything over his career, so I'd love to see what kind of fighter he is too.
He's got too much salt to not have a a fighting major on his
Yeah.
resume before.
Quick
he
versus
retired.
Askarov. Who you got?
Oh, Askarov, the young buck.
Come on, got to go with the old
I'm
vet.
taking the old man strength.
Yeah,
It's real.
yeah,
It's real.
old man. Yep.
I do. But before I give you my winner, I haven't even mentioned that yet. There's one voter here on this panel, and it's me, so I'll be the one
This is a
dictating.
dictatorship.
Yeah, dictating these nominations. I do like the Jonathan Quick angle. I'm realizing because a guy that late into his career, like, did Fleury get into a fight or
No,
did he
he
try
wanted to, but never
Yeah.
did.
I'm thinking, like, if you're an old goalie who hasn't had a fight on the card, like, you gotta want one maybe that last season just to be able to, like, tell your grandkids about, yeah, I fought in the NHL as a goalie.
Well, wasn't his thing kind of petty that earlier this season? It was like the opposing team scored in an empty net when the whistle was blown. It was something
the
like
game had just ended, I believe, and then they shot into the empty
And
net.
it's like, come on.
Comes flying off the bench. I don't even remember if
Something
he played that
very
game or
goalie-like.
whatever. But went after, I think it was Larkin, and everyone got into it. And
Love
it was
it.
a great time.
So
from there,
good.
so.
Yeah, but on that note, I mean, I have to give it to Josh. I have to give it to Jordan Binnington. I think for the sake of
Shock.
hockey, that's what everyone wants to see next. And mind you, too, because I was looking it up. Jordan Binnington has 2 fights in the AHL.
oh,
It's only a matter of time.
That's a guy who really
You know
loves
what's good when
fights,
we're
though.
showing photos of the guy without a mask on
Yeah.
going at people, and
Exactly.
he hasn't been in an NHL fight yet.
Like the fact that he was fighting in the AHL, where like the theatrics are out the door, like, you know, the attendance is so much less than the NHL. You're not doing it for the fans. You're doing that to fight. if
You're doing it for
fighting.
the love of the game.
For the love of the game in the AHL. He basically has tilts with like players. It's just a matter of time that they let him get past center ice. So I think Jordan Binnington, not only is he primed to be the next fighter, but I think he's the guy that everyone wants to see fighting next. So point for Josh there on the Ron Hextall Award. Congrats, Jordan Binnington. Hopefully you receive that one in the mail. On to the next one, the Phil Kessel Award. And this is given to the Olympic snub this year that is most likely to keep GMs up at night. And if anyone out there is wondering why this is called the Phil Kessel Award, it's not an Olympic-based award, but World Cup of Hockey 2016, the Americans obviously took some questionable players, Justin Albdocator being one of those guys. And Phil Kessel, during the championship game they didn't make it to the
No,
championship.
it
When
was before that. It was
When
whenever
they
the
got
U.S. got
eliminated,
eliminated.
yeah.
When the U.S. got eliminated, puts out the infamous tweet. Just sitting around the house tonight with my dog, felt like I should be doing something important, but I couldn't put my finger on it. 90,000 likes. NHL players don't
iconic.
put
All-timer.
those numbers up. So this is the Phil Kessel Award. Like we said, player who, you know, GMs are going to be racking their brains about at night. We'll start with you again here, Josh. Who's your guy for this?
I got Jason Robertson. He's having such a great year, and this is a guy who's 6'3", 210 plus pounds. He fits that like big mold of someone Bill Guerin might want on his team. He's been a good defensive player throughout his entire career. I don't really get why he's not there. It's not like with a guy like Caulfield where there's some size issues or one-dimensional stuff. Like, he's a good playmaker, he can score. I'm flabbergasted he's not on the team.
Well, not to add to your case, but I guess I will. There's the possibility that, you know, Robertson's team and Guerin's team face off in the playoffs.
Ooh.
A little
I would
extra
say it's almost a
motivation.
certainty
Yeah,
at
almost
this
a
point.
certainty at this point. So, you know, does Guerin stay up at night even post Olympics thinking about Robertson against his
Man,
Minnesota
what a
Wild?
good revenge spot for him too. And I think, what was it, when the roster came out at that point in time, like in the last calendar year, he had the most goals for an American or
Yes.
points or something.
Yeah.
Like, obviously a massive
I
omission.
understood not having him on the Four Nations team last year because he got off to that slow start, had
Yeah.
the offseason injury, but really
He's done
took
it
off
then.
in the
He's-
second half.
he's
He's been
literally-
amazing.
he's
so
done it since then.
Yeah, I don't know what else this guy has to do.
Yeah, John, your nominee for the Phil Kessel Award.
I'm going to go with Matthew Schaefer.
Okay.
And my reasoning here is, you know, okay, we just talked about Bennington. Let's go through the reasons. If things go wrong for Canada, you know, what's the ranking? It's probably, you know, going to be goaltending at the top of the list. Second will probably be a lack of mobility or puck moving further down the depth chart on defense, whether it's Doughty or Parayko or Sanheim, like sort of these guys where, you know, they're taking them more for defensive reasons, whereas Matthew Schaefer, you know, not a single real blip in his rookie season. He's the youngest player in the league, but is certainly not showing it. And, you know, his time on ice, he's like 16th in the entire league. Like, it's pretty insane the amount of miles he's put on and hasn't lost a step. A lot of rookies are hitting a wall. He is not. And I just feel like there was also a intangible reason to take him in terms of him being part of that next wave with, you know, Bedard and Celebrini. I could understand leaving Bedard at home, but I felt like Schaefer, you know, had proven enough. Like, take away the birth certificate, he had proven enough to be part of that 8-man defense group. So I'm sort of projecting like if things go awry with Canada, there's kind of I feel very confident in the forward group that they'll be able to score. I think it'll be sort of on the defense, how they move the puck up, or goaltending. And Schaefer will be sort of like, if you can picture the future headline of Canada, disappointing. The picture with that headline will probably be Schaefer as sort of that one snub that you wish that was actually. At
you
the
don't think it'll
Olympics.
be like Darren Radish instead? Something like that, promising young puck moving.
Well,
defenseman.
and I gotta give Cushman props, because in our first week overreaction, Cushman was saying, Matthew Schaefer should be on Team Canada.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm like, well, it's been 1 week. Let's give it some time.
To be fair, it was 1 week.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I was like super skeptical, because he blew me away just like everyone else. But it was just sort of like he's going to hit a wall, but he just hasn't.
That he's been able to keep.
He's been playing stiffer competition. He keeps
his role has evolved.
Scoring game-winning goals. Like he's checking off literally every box he could possibly
and it's not
check off.
like he came into this season or the draft. He wasn't a Connor McDavid type of prospect. He wasn't even like a Connor Bedard type prospect. Like
He played less than 20 games last
yeah,
year.
exactly. He had small sample size. Like he was kind of the consensus guy, but he wasn't, the next great thing in hockey. And so to do what he's been doing at such an incredible. We're just I build both of your guys' case now.
That's fine, because I'm going to make my case, and
Let's
it's going to be the
hear
right
Kyle's,
case here for Cole Caulfield, because he's already in the brain of Bill Guerin after that game the Habs played against the Wild, where he scored the game-winning goal there. But for me, it's the fact that goals are the most important thing. It's the reason why Team USA didn't win. It was those fine margins in the championship game of the Four Nations face-off. And over the recent years, Cole Caulfield has been one of, if not the most clutch goal scorer in the NHL. When you look at overtime goals, game-winning goals, he's the leader over the NHL over the last 3 years. And the key thing here is double IHF rules, Olympic rules means 3-on-3 overtime. It's not going to be the 5-on-5 overtime like we saw at the Four Nations. So if you're going to 3-on-3, it's a very short list of players you would probably want over Cole Caulfield at that point. So I think he's a player where if things, again, go wrong for Team USA, or they don't have enough goals or anything like that, I think Caulfield is a player that you would really regret not taking, just given everything he's shown for the Canadians being able to come up in important moments for that team over the past 2-3 seasons now.
Yeah, it's a great pitch. It's a pitch so great that I'm actually not going to give you any defense, because I'm going to give you the award instead. I don't need to prop it up anymore. The thing I can't understand about Team USA and Cole Caulfield is, like, you don't want to go home, a couple goals shy. And it's not like he's just the fourth or fifth guy down the list on Team USA in terms of, like, goal scoring ability. It's hockey players right now. There's only so many guys that can score the way he can. And it's just insane to leave him off a team like this.
The Habs Twitter account already tagged USA Hockey. So if we're talking about the Phil Kessel Award as well, in terms of who's most likely to tweet it again,
there's already been a tweet.
Caulfield probably high on that list.
Yeah, he checks a lot of boxes there. All right, 2 awards down, 2 guys awarded. On to the third one, the Cy Young Award. This was brought to us by Josh, actually. He had the idea. This is given to the player with the most lopsided stat line right now, and in terms of lopsided and why it's correlated to Cy Young. Obviously, pitchers in baseball generally get awarded the best pitcher, the Cy Young Award, when the win-loss record you look at. It'll be like 22-4 or something, just some obscure numbers on both sides. And so we're doing that on the NHL, on the hockey level here. Who's your nomination for the Cy Young Award this year in hockey?
It's Kiefer Sherwood. How can it not be? 17 goals, only 6 assists.
Yeah.
That is a Cy Young caliber win-loss record. I think it's pretty remarkable. I mean, he's having a great year. He has a specific role. He goes to the net, crashes and bangs. But to only have 6 assists when you're playing like significant top 6 minutes is also quite funny. So I got Kiefer Sherwood.
Kiefer Sherwood, John?
So we're talking lopsided stat lines. I understand the Cy Young of it all, but we're just talking lopsided stat lines here, and it's got to be Quinn Hughes. I mean, first of all, like, if we're talking about star players, like, that eliminates a lot of the league. So if we just focus on the stars. He's got 5 goals, and then he's got 55 total points. That leaves 50 assists. That's quite lopsided, and it's really
a bad win-loss record too.
That's
true.
The anti-Cy Young.
The anti-Cy Young. But what's interesting actually is that we have almost a split between his time in Vancouver this year and Minnesota. I believe he's played 26 games, Vancouver 25 for Minnesota. And he has 3 goals in Minnesota, 2 in Vancouver. So like the trade hasn't even really upped his goal making. And I mean, I think it makes sense because he goes to a Minnesota team that has a bunch of finishers. So he goes from, wheeling and dealing and, being this sort of like play controlling, play driving guy for Vancouver, and then setting guys up and they just, the offense dies on their stick. And now he's in Minnesota and he goes, I made the same play that I would make in Vancouver, and the puck's in the back of the net. So I think it's almost feeding into that sort of assist-heavy stat line, being in Minnesota with the Kaprizovs and Boldies of the world right there with him. And, we've seen Faber's stats go through the roof with Quinn Hughes around, so he's my guy for this award.
Okay, and last but not least, Kyle.
Yeah, volume here is important. It's not just about the lopsided, but you also have to have a lot of those wins in terms of the goals as well, if we're talking about the win-loss record equivalent, of course. For me, that's Steven Stamkos here. 27 goals, 14 assists, almost twice as many goals as assists, and doing that as a guy who's going to eclipse 30 goals. I think the way that Stamkos has kind of come on recently has been so much fun to watch, climbing up the goal leaderboard when it kind of looked like he was kind of cooked for a lot of this season as well. And just the fact that he's back on his form and how lopsided that stat line is as a player with that amount of goals as well. Like, we see sometimes, like, 15 goals, only a handful of assists or whatever. It's a lot rarer to see a guy with 25 plus goals have that kind of lopsided stat line. So for me, I love Stamkos here because 27 wins, if the equivalent is goals here, that's tough to beat for the Cy Young.
It's a good point. And
very Chris Kreider-esque stat
Yep,
line.
that's another good one.
Yes,
Yep.
this could have been called the Chris Kreider Cy Young Award. Do you want to give a shout out to the other one that you had written down?
Yeah, the other one. So if we're
I looked up, this insane.
If we're looking at another option for this one, in the PWHL, Kristina Koltunkova leading the league in goals with 11 and has 1 assist.
Nice.
For it as well.
11
The first overall pick last summer, having a fantastic rookie
Does
season.
not pass the
11
buck,
goals, 1 assist going into the Olympics. God bless.
So good. So good. Those are all honestly great nominations. I'm glad you guys had some fun with it. It's chalky. I'm gonna give the nod to Kiefer Sherwood solely just because for a guy of his caliber, like, you don't expect that output at any point, let alone in the goals department. Like, if you told me Kiefer Sherwood has 23 points, I'm like, all right, yeah, he's probably got like 3 goals and the rest are assists. I couldn't do the math there quickly in my head. The rest are assists. 3 goals, 20 yeah. But it's also the way he gets them. Like, he's getting these goals like unassisted as well because he's the shorthanded goals. Like, he's a beast on the PK. I just think his style of game, you don't see it often from a guy that gritty to have that many goals and that little assists. So Kiefer Sherwood, you are this year's Cy Young Award winner. Interested to see where that award its tracks by the end of the season if some guys shoot up in the goals department.
Kiefer Sherwood and Paul Skeens, equivalent players.
Yeah, same guy in my books. 3 awards down, now 4. Like I said, one of our favorite returning awards, the John Scott Award. This is given to the Goon enjoying a sneaky good season. I believe last year's winner was it
Matthew Olivier.
Matthew Olivier from Columbus. He had a great year in the points department, at least for a guy like that. So 3 nominees. Let's get into them. Josh, who's your first sneaky good season for a Goon?
I got Mark Kastlick of the Boston Bruins. This guy, I think he's second in the league in PIMS. He's got 8 goals, 8 assists, which I think both are career highs or well on their way to being career highs for him. Playing 13 minutes a night for the Bruins, over 60% in the faceoff circle. Great penalty killer. Not sure what else you would want for a guy like that in terms of he can drop the mitts, but he's also providing usefulness elsewhere around the game.
Quintessential Boston Bruin type.
I think he's a back-to-back nominee for this award. I believe I nominated him last year.
Yeah,
There you go.
He's figuring it out. He's figuring
Second
out how
time's
to,
the charm, maybe.
how to do a little bit of both. John, you're a nominee?
I'm going to go with another Bruin, Tanner Jeannot. And, he signs this crazy deal in the offseason, 5 years, $17 million. I'm not saying I like that deal now, but it's certainly more palatable given the season he's having. He's in around 20 points. He's on pace to tie Olivier for points, like Olivier's point total last year. So if we're talking about comparable,
That's a good pull.
Wow.
32 points for Olivier last year. Jeannot is on pace for 32 this year. And he's kind of a weird player where he really broke out 24 goals in 21-22, and he was like a really, pretty young player, like 23 years old at that point. And then he's really tapered off. This season, that he already has the second most productive season of his career. So there's a bounce back ability there. Again, still don't love the contract, but 5 fighting majors, on pace for 32 points. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, solid. Bruins feel like they're cooking something up over there. Back to the old school Bruins. Kyle?
I'm going to the back end for this one. We always talk about like goons, enforcers, whatever as forwards. Got to give the defenseman some love here as well. Logan Stanley, 6'7", and he's had a breakout campaign for the Jets. Contract year for him, so he's going to get paid here by somebody probably not a great decision.
He's
to pay
6'7"
him.
every night, though.
He is every night. He has 5 fighting majors this season, and coming into this year, he had 5 career goals, 1 goal in each season he played in the NHL. He's got like 8 or 9 goals this season alone. It's been a remarkable turn of events for a guy that looked like he was probably not even a third pair NHLer, and now he's potting goals. Again, 6'7" every time he's on the ice, and he looks like he's in for some kind of payday this summer, whether it's by the Jets or some other team. And again, probably not sustainable, but you know what? For this kind of award, we're talking about 1 year sample size, and Logan Stanley having a breakout year, I think qualifies for a sneaky good season for a guy who typically is just kind of a tough guy fighter.
Yeah.
Just don't look at his lowlights on defense. Some positioning problems,
Well,
some puck
he's-
management
he's-
problems.
That is not what this award is about.
He's
This
too
is
busy.
the
I'm
award.
trying to win
This is
around
the award
here.
for the stone hands.
He's too busy scoring goals to care
Exactly.
about
That's
defense at
true.
this point in his career.
His mind's elsewhere.
Yeah, the John Scott Award winner. I'm giving it to Logan Stanley. I'm giving it. The goal, because I remember that stat coming up when he scored his first this year. It's like, oh yeah, this guy scores a goal every single game. He's done for the, or every single year. So he's done for the year, and he's got 9 goals. Like, and you don't
That rocks.
out of a 6'7" guy who's only known for like cross-checking guys in the back, probably in front of the net. Incredible season. So kudos to you, Logan Stanley, for really picking it up. That's I
and
believe,
a big part of the Jets' success this year.
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
They're rocketing up the standings.
I believe that's 2 awards for Josh, 2 awards for Kyle.
Big
zero
boy.
scoreless.
Here.
See if
Uh-oh.
that changes.
Gotta get at least one here.
As we get into our 5th award here, the Pat Maroon Award, another recurring award that we've got, and this is given to the player who's had the smallest impact on a cup contender's success. Obviously, Pat Maroon has 3 Stanley Cups. Don't forget
3
about
straight.
that ever. 3 straight cups for Pat Maroon, and maybe 3 total points in those playoff runs.
He was a bit better than that.
The Blue, yeah, he was on the Blues.
Yeah, Blues and then
Blues,
back-to-back Lightning.
Lightning. Yeah. So, Josh, your pick for the guy who's had the least to do with the team success so far this
All right,
year.
I'm going to the Colorado Avalanche, and I'm going Makar. Taylor Makar.
Hey, okay.
Taylor Makar has played 11 games this year. He has no points, no penalty minutes, or I think he has 7 shots. He plays under 7 minutes a night. It's literally like you're just here because your last name is Makar. This guy wasn't putting up points in the AHL. Wasn't even great in college. I don't know if he'd be in an NHL organization if it wasn't for his brother being the best defenseman in the world.
It's very eerily similar to a one Milwaukee Bucks brother tandem of
That is a good call.
is Taylor Makar the Thanasis Antetokounmpo of the NHL? It
Taylor
seems like
Makar,
it.
the next Brent Gretzky.
Ooh, wow. What a pull.
It's a good. It's a good. It's a
Some
good.
guys
pick.
catching some strays on
Yeah,
the show.
seriously. John, your pick.
Catching strays. I'm going to go with a bit of a personal attack on Wegman here.
Wow.
His buddy, his childhood buddy, Sean Walker of the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm going with a low
Can't
blow
believe
here.
it.
So Walker, on a very good team, cup contending team, is -6 at 5-on-5. The team overall, there's somewhere around +20. So he is one of these sort of anchors on the team. He's getting a ton of minutes. He's getting a ton of shot attempts, but the points aren't there. I believe he has 14 in 55 games, something to that effect. And I just come away very underwhelmed with this season. And I think the fact that he's playing a lot, almost like under or sort of I guess supports my case versus like Taylor Makar is just, he's kind of irrelevant. I feel like
Yes.
Walker's minutes are important. And I feel like it's also, I came into the season thinking, okay, that Carolina blue line, you don't need to touch it. You're good to go. Now I'm leaning towards, okay, should they, address the right side ahead of the deadline, maybe as we've talked about previously, trying to pursue Justin Falk or someone to that effect. So I'm sorry, Josh, and I'm sure Sean's a great guy, but I'm going to throw him under the bus here.
Yeah, I got to defend my guy a little bit. He was playing big minutes, especially early on in the year. They had a ton of defense injuries. He really, I think, stabilized that whole blue line. Rod Brindamore is a huge fan, so I think, I think.
Oh, you're just throwing the Brindamore thing here. Well, Brindamore likes him.
Brindamore loves him, always praising him.
Sure,
So
I'm sure Brindamore would have loved Pat Maroon as well. Last nominee here, Kyle.
Yeah, let's go to the Tampa Bay Lightning here. Nick Paul is my pick. At 5-on-5, he's been outscored 21-14 on a team that has a +53 goal differential this season. He's been dropped down to the 4th line recently. Of course, he did have a goal this weekend, so that maybe hurts my case.
Recency bias.
But in terms of just kind of overall impact, you look at how many kind of just great seasons the Lightning have had despite so many injuries. And I think the one player that hasn't really done that this season is Nick Paul. It's like a 25 or 30% differential in terms of goals for when he's played this season. He's been hurt a little bit as well. That definitely impacts his season. Hopefully he can turn it around here and be a player that can help them going forwards. But for right now, I think he's had a pretty poor season on a team that has really exceeded expectations, even as high as they were coming into this season. So Nick Paul is my pick for the smallest impact on a true cup contender, because I think the other thing is Carolina, as we talked about earlier this year, not a real cup contender.
This is a good point.
Love it.
As the panel here, I'm going to give one to John.
Yes.
I'm going to give one to John in the
For
Sean
the
Walker
pettiness
case.
or what?
A little bit for the pettiness.
All right.
A little bit for the fact that, like,
Mickey Mouse Award.
Mickey might have been a little bit of voter fatigue here.
I'm
but no,
yeah,
just
yeah.
with how much he was playing and how much, like you said, the team is a totals plus 20. I was looking at the plus minuses of them. Like, to be -6 and playing on a team that's like in the plus like that, it's pretty impressive. Like, it's not easy to do.
Impressive. I like the.
Well, you're on the ice that much, you'd expect to be on the ice for some goals as well, and he's on the opposite side of that. So hopefully Sean Walker's not watching. Don't send him this one, Josh. But yeah, congrats to you for winning the Pat Maroon Award. 2 awards left here. They kind of piggyback off of one another. First and foremost, we have the Where Did You Come From Award, given to the player having the biggest, most impressive breakout season. This is an award that I feel like should actually be awarded. Like the
Yeah, I'd love a
That would
most
be fun.
improved.
NFL
Yeah.
has a comeback
Most
of the
improved,
year.
yeah, would be
NBA has the most improved award. I wish that we could see the NHL having something like this, but maybe I don't, because everyone's going to come here for this
There you
award
go.
being handed out. So the Where'd You Come From award nominees. We'll start with yours, Josh.
He was already actually mentioned on this show, which I wasn't expecting, but Darren Radish.
Wow.
This is a guy who was undrafted. I think he played 7 years in the AHL, didn't become a full-time NHLer until he was 27. Now in his 3rd full year in the NHL, he's over a point a game, has 16 goals as a defenseman, playing huge minutes, I think over 22 minutes a night, carrying that load while Victor Hedman was hurt for a while for Tampa Bay. So I think it's got to be Darren Radish. It's a great story, and it's really awesome to see a player like this really find it and succeed, especially in a contract year. He is going to get paid by someone this summer.
Fascinating contract coming up.
Absolute bomb on the power play, and he's taken over the Stamkos spot, right? So
Knowing how this goes, Tampa Bay is probably going to sign him for 7 years with like a really cheap benefit or something.
But yeah, like to the point about his bomb, like a couple years ago when he was still in the AHL, like he was in the hardest shot competition and won that by like a decent margin, and that was when he was in the Tampa system. Obviously got called up, and it's crazy that he's gone from like a kind of sheltered third pair guy to like over a point per game. It's an unbelievable glow up.
Insane stuff. John, your nomination.
I'm going to go with Josh Doan of the Buffalo Sabres, a guy who came over in a Utah Mammoth Buffalo Sabres trade that, the headlines were, it's Kessel ring for Peterka, and then obviously Doan is, part of that deal. He was sort of the side character. The 3 of 3 out of that deal. And I mean, he's become the best player in that deal, at least, in the present moment, where, he's just like a player's player in terms of the doggedness on the puck. He's up there with the league leaders in takeaways. He's put up enough points. And I think my favorite thing or why he's so valuable to the Sabres is that he allows that forward group to just click into place a lot better. They really lacked, guys in their top 6 that were sort of, puck retrievers. Like, think of a Brandon Hagel. Like, now they have their Brandon Hagel. Right. Versus, like, before it was just, constantly putting guys next to Thompson or Tuck and not really knowing what is the plan here long term. Well, they have, a core piece now. And I'd argue it goes Thompson, Tuck, Doan in terms of most important forwards. And that's saying a lot for a guy who's relatively new to the league. And he gets a 7-year extension, so the team is obviously very happy with him. And I think it was very well deserved. And I don't know. You just watch him, and like the details are off the charts. And also within the dressing room, when you talk to players, like they love this kid in terms of like bringing some swagger, but like not sort of like a cocky swagger, but just a swagger of like, hey, I'm the son of an NHLer. I know how this whole thing goes, and I'm not affected by the moment. And Buffalo's needed those types of guys. This long playoff drought, and Doan's been such a massive part of this basically 2-month binge they're on. And yeah, his breakthrough's been, at the top of the list of reasons why they're on that run.
I see a bit of Mark Stone in his game too,
Sure.
where he's not the biggest guy, fastest guy, or most skilled guy, but he's always in the right place at the right time and just really dogging on the puck, like you said.
Kind of reminds me of like Shane Doan.
Yeah, where does
makes
that come
sense.
from?
Yeah, I wonder why.
No,
It's an
I do
interesting
think a
comp.
little bit similar play
That
style.
comes a little out of nowhere.
Kyle, your nominee.
Yeah, I'm going a different route for this one because it's a young gun and it's a guy who was a top 5 pick, top 3 pick in Beckett Seneca. But for me, it's the way that he's come on this season in his first taste of the NHL. Didn't even get any games last year, but has come in and is a top line player right now for the Anaheim Ducks and has been fantastic in recent games. But I look at junior age players, so players under the age of 20, in their over the course of a season who have scored 25 or more goals, which is what Seneca's on pace to do right now. And over the past 10 seasons, it's Laine, Matthews, McDavid, Celebrini.
Wow.
That's the kind of area that Seneca's put himself into as a guy that on draft night wasn't expected to go third overall. It was a big shock. We all remember his reaction.
Yeah.
As
He didn't
shocked
even
as
think he
everyone
was
else
going.
was going third
Incredible.
overall. And the way that he has come on this season, a guy that we probably thought was more likely to play for Canada at the World Juniors than to put up 25 plus goals, however many points he's going to end up with. He's just been this unbelievable development story in recent years, going from this undersized player when he was drafted in the OHL, having this huge growth spurt up to like 6'3" and kind of figuring out how to play hockey again, essentially in this big man game. He has the puck skills, and we're seeing it already come through at the NHL level. He looks like a legit first line difference maker, and I didn't see this coming this early in his NHL career.
I'm still waiting for my growth spurt to 6'3".
Yeah, right?
Hopefully
Yeah,
it's
it'll be
coming.
Next year.
Right into the NHL.
You can really see the small man's game though in him, where he grew up as one of the smaller guys. It's, you know, obviously the obvious guy to point to here is Tage Thompson, and you know Seneca's not that tall, he's not that massive, but you see it. He's like off the rush, he's got this power game, but you know in terms of his handles and what he's able to do with the puck, it's pretty rare.
And it is like it's such a unique situation where it's like this guy went third overall, but like it was treated like a late round pick. I don't know, like just the
he's kinda
expectation.
very underrated.
It was so
Yeah.
tapered. It felt like they were like, why did they do that?
Wasn't on the World Junior team.
Insane.
Right after being
And,
drafted third
yeah,
overall.
he's like, I think he's third on the Ducks in points right now, like above a lot of their big, like guys making all the money and stuff. Just an awesome season.
We gotta give props to the Ducks for they go off the board with Leo Carlson
Yes.
and Beckett Seneca.
Yeah.
Both of them have worked
Home
out
runs, yeah.
wonderfully. So you know, draft night, everyone's like, "Oh, what are the Ducks doing?" It's like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe they know what they're doing.
Something's
Verbeek does
cooking.
not care about our
No.
opinion.
Yeah.
It's not.
The Where'd You Come From Award winner, though, I'm going to give it to Darren Radish again.
Gotta
a
be.
little bit chalky, but this guy, you said undrafted. He was actually undrafted 3 times.
Wow.
So to do that, and then he bounced around the AHL and NHL for like 6 years, I believe, and to do what he's doing at the 8, what is he? So he's 30?
29, I think.
29,
Yeah.
30? Like,
yeah.
it's so unprecedented, and like I'm sure there's parts of this guy's career less than like 5 years ago where he was thinking about hanging him up. Like he was at that point, and to be doing this on a team as good as Tampa Bay, like you said, in the Stamkos spot, Darren Radish. If you told Darren
pretty
Radish
incredible.
that a couple of years ago, he'd be like, "What are you talking about?" So yeah, congrats, Darren Radish. Surefire winner here for the most improved player, the Where'd You Come From award. We've got one left, so we looked at the first half of the season. This one's going to be looking at the second half of the season, but it's called the First Half Facade Award, and this is given to the player most likely to regress down the stretch here. So we've got a little bit of Olympics, and then we have the last half or the last third of the season coming up. Which player is going to be the number one candidate to fall off a cliff, basically, in terms of their playing and their, the points department? Josh, your first nominee for that.
I've got Morgan Geekie. He can't keep getting away with this, honestly. He's just leading the league in shooting percentage. Almost did it last year, too. I know this is a guy who goes to the net a lot and scores some greasy goals, but, I mean, the puck luck has just been insurmountable. It's got to cool off at some point.
At some point, you
I'm
think?
predicting, the tail end of this season, it'll come down to earth.
I felt like we sat around this table and said this like a year ago now. Like he what was he, second in goals in the year of 2025? Like he just keeps getting away with it. It's
Yeah.
insane.
I'd love it if Morgan Geekie just became like an all-time historic.
Just a
goal
40
scorer.
goals.
Yeah. He's just a 30% scorer for the rest of his career.
Be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I
I know it's
don't.
a lot of in tight. It's like Zach Hyman-esque
Yeah.
at times, but still, it seems like it's got to.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of substance there, but it's still too high.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good nominee, John.
Speaking of high shooting percentages, William Nylander, 22% shooter right now on ice. So if you include his teammates, 16%. That's too high. He's been dealing with a groin issue this year. I wonder if that keeps him out of the lineup a little bit down the stretch, or maybe some load management if the Leafs are trying to tank their season a little bit. Also, I wonder about what the forward group looks like after the trade deadline. I mean, is Bobby McMahon and Scott Laughton gone? maybe those guys aren't playing minutes with Nylander a lot, but like I feel like he'll feel that I guess talent drain from the forward group. So as much as Nylander has had a really good season, I feel like it's been not as sort of like substantive as some other guys putting up the type of numbers he has.
Yeah.
What a hater.
Fair enough.
Pure hater.
William Nylander, first
What's
half
Nylander
Facade.
going to do without Scott Laughton?
Yeah, that was a bad. Bobby McMahon was at least he plays in the top 6 sometimes.
Yeah. Kyle, last nominee.
I'm going to Mark Stone for this one. Scoring at an absolute absurd rate this season, over like 1.4 points per game right now, which is by far a career high. Relatively high shooting percentage as well, but for me the big thing is just his injury history and the fact that he's going across to the Olympics and then coming back and then into the stretch run and then into the Olympics. I just don't see a way that Mark Stone, given all of his injury history, is going to keep scoring at a 1.4 point per game pace the rest of the season, given all the wear and tear on his body between flying over, coming back, playing in those Olympics, and then playing in big games at the end of the season. I think he's a player that, just given the Olympics and the extra wear and tear that's going to be added, is a player that's really going to have to manage things over the course of the rest of the season if he's to be effective in the playoffs. So I'm looking for him to maybe take a significant step back in the rest after the Olympic break. And that's a tough one as well, because Vegas kind of really needs him to be doing what he's doing right now, because they've had a bad stretch here recently since the Rasmus Anderson trade. And I think most importantly, you look at like the regulation wins and they're near the bottom of the NHL as well. So I'm curious to see what that looks like for Vegas if he does in fact take a step back after the Olympic break.
I'm curious to see what that looks like for Mark Stone, considering he's already kind of renowned as one of the slower guys who's able to make it happen. So imagine a slower Mark Stone. What is that gonna look
I mean, he's got back injuries and those don't really go away, right? Like
no.
So he's
especially with the added games.
Speaking of load management, like he's already sort of like day-to-day load management, even though he might
Aren't
play
we
a lot.
all?
We're all day-to-day if you think about it.
But no, great nominees. I'm glad. Good last category here. I'm gonna give John another win here. William
Because I'm
Nylander.
hating on the Leafs?
I think partially because, yes, I think his production's going to go down, and I think the Leafs are going to go down. I'm hearing way too much tank talk for the first time in, like, years and years, and I think, him and Matthews probably will be, not beneficiaries, but the guys feeling the bulk of that a lot in terms of, like, yeah, maybe they might get a couple extra games off. The Leafs, it's not their year. Finally, it's not their year, right? It's been their year every other year.
Well, if there's anyone who can
Been
block
their
it out,
year, okay.
If there's anyone who can block that out, it's Willie, because he's just
Yeah, he's going to finish with 100
different
points or
guy.
something. Yeah.
Typical Toronto media hating on William.
But no, that was a ton of fun. Happy to do this again. Great nominees, great awards as always.
Awards will be in the mail.
Your awards will be in the mail, guys back home. Yeah, you'll get like one of those golden stars that you used to get in elementary school. It's just a cardboard cutout. So enjoy it. But yeah, this has been the what I call it, the least official but most important NHL award show, the Enterprizes, presented by Enterprise. So for everyone that watched, thank you very much. Very special episode coming later in this week, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's helped out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been Top Shelf, presented by Enterprise.